The Silent Revolution, Unveiling the Hidden Crisis in Women's Health After 40. Welcome to a groundbreaking episode of the BlackCEO Podcast. Today we're pulling back the curtain on a topic that's been shrouded in silence for far too long. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of sitting down with Asara Tsehai, a visionary leader who's not just talking about change. She's creating a seismic shift in the world of women's health. Asara isn't just another voice in the crowd. She's a beacon of hope for millions of women, a trailblazer who's challenging the status quo and demanding better for half of our population. So let's dive right in with a question that might make you squirm in your seat, but it's one we desperately need to address. Why are women over 40 suffering in silence? And more importantly, why aren't we talking about it? Here's a statistic that Asara shared with me that literally made my jaw drop. Only 2% of funding for medical research is invested in women's health over 40. Let that sink in for a moment. Half of the population in what should be their prime years is being treated as an afterthought by medical science. It's not just a number, it's a silent epidemic affecting millions of women worldwide. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, come on, it can't be that bad, right? Well, buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through the landscape of women's health. And I promise you, it's going to be an eye-opener. Imagine this. Your mother, your sister, your wife, or your daughter suddenly feels like a stranger in her own body. Hot flashes that make her feel like she's standing in the Sahara at high noon. Mood swings that would put a roller coaster to shame. Weight gain that seems to appear overnight, as if someone's been secretly force-feeding her while she sleeps. Now, imagine being told that it's just part of getting older, or worse, that it's all in your head. This isn't some dystopian fiction. It's the reality for countless women over 40. And it's a reality that Asara Tsehai is determined to rewrite. But why should you care if you're not a woman over 40? Well, let me put it this way. This isn't just a women's issue. It's a human issue. When women suffer, we all suffer. Families, workplaces, communities. The ripple effects of ignoring women's health are like a stone thrown into a pond, creating waves that touch every shore. Let me share a story that Asara told me that really drives this point home. It's about Sarah, a high-powered executive in her early 50s. Sarah wasn't just good at her job, she was a force of nature, sharp as a tack, decisive, with enough energy to power a small city, but suddenly she found herself struggling to remember important details in meetings. Her razor-sharp mind felt like it was wrapped in cotton wool. Her confidence, once unshakable, started to crumble. Her performance suffered, and she was on the verge of stepping down from her position, believing she was losing her edge. Now, here's the kicker. What Sarah didn't know, what so many women don't know, is that her symptoms weren't a sign of aging or incompetence. They were signs of a hormonal imbalance that could be addressed with proper treatment. But because of the lack of research and awareness in this area, Sarah suffered needlessly for months before getting the help she needed. This story isn't unique. It's playing out in boardrooms, in homes, in communities across the world. And it's happening because we've collectively decided that women's health after 40 isn't a priority. But Asara Tsehai is here to tell us that it's time for that to change. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Hormones, isn't that just about hot flashes and mood swings? Oh, my friends, if only it were that simple. Hormones are like the body's air traffic controllers. They direct everything from our metabolism to our mood, our sleep patterns to our sex drive. When they're out of balance, it's like trying to land a jumbo jet on a highway. You might make it work for a while, but eventually things are going to get messy. Asara's work is showing us that hormonal imbalances can lead to a whole host of issues that we've traditionally attributed to other causes. Fatigue that makes you feel like you're wading through molasses, weight gain that seems to defy the laws of physics, brain fog that makes you wonder if someone replaced your brain with a bowl of oatmeal, depression that colors your world in shades of gray. These aren't just inevitable parts of aging. They're often symptoms of hormonal imbalances that can be addressed with the right treatment. But here's the real kicker. We can't treat what we don't understand. And right now, our understanding of women's hormonal health is about as clear as mud. Why? Because we're not investing in the research. We're not asking the right questions. We're not listening to women when they tell us something is wrong. Asara shared another statistic with me that made my blood run cold. Did you know that women are 50% more likely than men to be misdiagnosed after a heart attack? 50%. That's not a small margin of error. That's a chasm. And one of the reasons for this is that heart attack symptoms can present differently in women. And these differences are often related to hormonal factors that we don't fully understand. This isn't just a matter of comfort or quality of life, although those are certainly important. This is a matter of life and death. Women are dying because we're not investing in understanding their bodies. Let that sink in for a moment. In the 21st century, with all our technological advancements, with all our supposed progress, we're still failing half of our population. But Asara Tsehai isn't just highlighting the problem. She's working tirelessly to find solutions. Her approach is holistic, looking at women's health, not just through the lens of individual symptoms, but as a complex interplay of physical, emotional, and societal factors. One of the most powerful things Asara told me during our interview was this: women's bodies are not broken. They're not defective. They are different. And it's time we started treating them that way. This simple statement is revolutionary in its implications. It suggests that the problem isn't with women's bodies, it's with our understanding of them. Asara's work is challenging the medical establishment to rethink its approach to women's health. She's advocating for more research, more funding, and more attention to the unique needs of women over 40. But she's also empowering women to take control of their own health. She shared a powerful story about a workshop she conducted where she asked women to list their symptoms on a board. As the board filled up, something magical happened. Women started to realize that they weren't alone in their experiences. There was a palpable sense of relief in the room as women realized that what they were feeling wasn't all in their head. It was a shared experience that deserved attention and care. This is the power of awareness and education. When we start talking about these issues openly, we remove the stigma. We create a space for women to advocate for themselves and for each other. We create a demand for better research, better treatments, and better care. But Asara's vision goes beyond just treating symptoms. She's advocating for a fundamental shift in how we think about women's health. Instead of seeing the changes that come with age as something to be feared or fought against, she encourages women to see them as a natural transition, one that can be navigated with grace and even embraced. This doesn't mean accepting discomfort or suffering. Far from it. It means understanding our bodies, working with them instead of against them, and demanding the care and attention we deserve. It means recognizing that women's health doesn't stop being important after childbearing years. If anything, it becomes even more critical as women enter a new phase of life, one where they often hold positions of power and influence in their families, workplaces, and communities. Asara's work is a call to action. It's a call for more research, more funding, and more attention to women's health over 40. But it's also a call for a cultural shift, a shift away from the idea that women should suffer in silence, a shift towards open conversation, mutual support, and empowerment. So what can we do? How can we be part of this change? Asara had some powerful suggestions that I want to share with you. First, we need to start talking. If you're a woman experiencing symptoms, don't brush them off. Don't accept it's just part of getting older as an answer. Speak up, advocate for yourself. And if you're not a woman over 40, listen, create space for these conversations. Support the women in your life who might be struggling. Be their ally, their advocate, their support system. Second, we need to demand better. Better research, better funding, better care. This means putting pressure on policymakers, on medical institutions, on research bodies. It means supporting organizations that are working to advance women's health. It means voting with our wallets and our ballots for initiatives that prioritize women's health. It means making noise, lots of noise, until we can't be ignored anymore. Third, we need to educate ourselves. Asara emphasized the importance of women understanding their own bodies. This doesn't mean becoming a medical expert overnight. It means being curious, asking questions, and seeking out reliable information. It means treating our bodies with the respect and care they deserve. It means becoming the CEO of your own health. Fourth, we need to support each other. Asara's story about the workshop shows the power of shared experiences. We need to create more spaces where women can come together, share their stories, and support each other. This could be formal support groups Or it could be as simple as checking in with the women in our lives and really listening to what they're experiencing. It's about creating a sisterhood of support, a network of understanding and empowerment. And finally, we need to challenge the status quo. We need to question why only 2% of medical research funding goes to women's health over 40. We need to challenge the idea that women's suffering is inevitable or unimportant. We need to demand better, not just for ourselves, but for our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, and for generations of women to come. Asara Tsehai's work is a beacon of hope in a field that has been overlooked for far too long. She's showing us that change is possible, that women don't have to suffer in silence, that with the right knowledge, the right care, and the right support, women can thrive at any age. But her vision won't become a reality without all of us playing our part. So I want to leave you with a challenge. Think about the women in your life who are over 40. Your mother, your sister, your friend, your colleague. Ask them about their health. Really listen to their answers. And then ask yourself, what can I do to support them? What can I do to be part of this change? Because here's the truth. Women's health isn't just a women's issue. It's a human issue. When women thrive, we all thrive. When women are healthy, our families are healthier. Our workplaces are more productive. Our communities are stronger. So let's make this change happen. Let's break the silence. Let's demand better. Let's support each other. And let's create a world where women's health at every age gets the attention, the research, and the care it deserves. Remember, as Asara Tsehai so powerfully put it, women's bodies are not broken. They're not defective. They're different. And it's time we started treating them that way. Now, I want you to imagine a world where women over 40 are not just surviving, but thriving. A world where they're not fighting against their bodies, but working in harmony with them. A world where the wisdom and experience that comes with age is celebrated, not feared. This is the world Asara Tsehai is fighting for, and it's a world we can all help create. So, here's my call to action for you. Start a conversation today, whether it's with your mother, your sister, your partner, or your friend. Ask them about their health, their experiences, their concerns. Listen without judgment. Offer support without trying to fix everything. Be the change you want to see in the world. And to the women listening, I want you to know this. You are not alone. Your experiences are valid. Your health matters. You deserve to be heard, to be understood, to be cared for. Don't suffer in silence. Speak up. Demand better. You are the expert on your own body, and it's time the world started listening. To the men listening, I challenge you to be allies in this fight. Support the women in your life. Educate yourselves. Use your voices and your influence to demand change. This isn't just a women's issue. It's a human issue, and we need everyone on board to make a difference. And to everyone listening, regardless of your gender or age, I want you to remember this. The way we treat women's health is a reflection of our values as a society. It's time we showed that we value women, all women, at every stage of life. So let's start this revolution. Let's break the silence. Let's rewrite the narrative around women's health. Let's create a world where women over 40 don't just survive, they thrive. Because when women thrive, we all thrive. And that's a future worth fighting for. Thank you for listening. And remember, the time for change is now. And that change starts with each and every one of us. Let's make it happen.